Hello everyone. Ollie, how are we? Right. The latest trends, hey, how you going? Welcome back. No, still no Ferrari. Should have full ported long with that CPI news. Then we'd be rolling in it. Ollie, you'll notice got this secret level up here. You might know what it is. That's awesome, man. Thanks for the subscription, for the follow. Appreciate that. I'll be doing these a lot more regularly in the coming future. And if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to ask me in the chat, or if you've joined my Discord that I've got as well, you can just ask me in there. Either or. Yeah, no worries, man. I actually enjoy streaming a lot. Yeah, trapped in the daily pivot zone, that's what I've been watching as well. We've just wicked up above it. Here being the high. Where's my line? That being the daily pivot zone high. Yeah, more news coming soon at 9:45, so that's definitely what I'm waiting for as well. I likely won't take a trade before that. But I think we should get some decent moves after that. I'm not sure if I want to target any shorts. For now, I definitely don't. But it depends what happens after that second lot of news, because we did put in on the micro NASDAQ contract these equal lows here. But if you actually look at the normal NQ contract, you will notice that the lows here aren't as equal as they are on MNQ. So we've got to keep that in mind, because that's just a bit more manipulation on the micro contract compared to, where did my chart go? Oh, goodness me. Yeah, it's a bit more manipulation on the micro contract that you get a lot. But for me, anytime that we're at all-time highs, I'm just looking for continuations long, and you'll find that you actually get a lot of easy trades when we're at all-time highs and you're just looking for longs. Because you'll get like sort of deep retracements, people think that we're starting to turn around, and then the first sort of inversion fair value gap you get going high, you can usually take, and get a decent trade like that. That's what I'll be looking out for today. Only a couple minutes away now from the open. I don't think there's really too much else for me to go over before market opens. It's kind of tough at all-time highs. You don't have much data to look at. So you sort of got to wait to see how we open. We're going to have a decent sized opening range gap here. Could be almost 200 points, potentially. Which is good, because then it gives us those quadrants to target as well of the opening range. Gonna keep an eye on this inversion fair value gap. Leading into the open here. Honestly, it's something like this where we've put in a high, we put in a low, we sweep this high and then get an inversion fair value gap lower. If it wasn't market open, that's something I would take. Entering at the low there. Stop up there somewhere. That being your first partial, but because it is market open, it's not something I'd look to take. But this is our first high. We want to see what we do if we were to sweep up here. Right. Honestly, if you're not looking at the wicks as well, we have all these candle bodies down here, which are a form of a relatively equal low. And it also coincides with 50% of our opening range gap. So something down to there could be a target if someone was in shorts. Because you don't always want to look at the wicks. Especially with a news candle like that. Majority of your liquidity is still going to be resting below the bodies of each candle. You'll notice I've swapped over to MNQ for today as well, where usually I'm trading minis. I just think having two red folder news drivers leading into the open, we could be quite volatile, so just preparing to enter with micros instead for today. I'm gonna mark out quadrants of that opening range. Epic, how you going, bro? Good to see you back. I'm watching this here right here. The low of this inversion fair value gap. And this small SIBI right there as well. Because if we want to go lower, rebalance some of this range created from news, I'd expect us to do it from around here. Yep, Friday. No, I hate trading all-time highs as well. I was saying just before, like, I think we're going to get some good movement, especially because we got news in like 10 minutes as well. But I wouldn't really want to take anything unless I'm looking for longs. That's usually just what I try to follow at all-time highs. But I do like these levels down here for shorts. We got equal lows with the bodies, equal lows put in with London low. Like good targets, but it's just whether we do it or not. Exactly, yeah. That's what RCT always says. All-time highs, just look for continuations long. Because like this, you get a lot of setups where you get a retracement into the range and an inversion fair value gap or something that you can enter on to continue long, and it sort of ends up being easy trades when it happens. Yeah, I'll probably be waiting till around 10 as well. I think that's probably a good time to look for like a silver bullet or something like that. No plans this weekend for me. I'll be helping my partner's mum move into her house. She got a new house, so helping her do that. But otherwise not a whole lot. We do have SMT, you're right. Between here and here. What about you, Epic? You got any plans this weekend? Don't like that this indicator drew that as being the first position fair value gap. That's good, man. Give your body a rest. I've been bowling for so long. I actually love bowling. So we've got somewhat of a breaker here as well. Mate, we're looking at the same things, Epic. Yeah. Dude, that's exactly, this is the kind of setup that Heaven would always enter on. As soon as we hit that macro, 950, when that comes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him for a few days actually. 934. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be prime. Right in the middle of this breaker. Honestly, if we come back to that, it's kind of hard because we do have news very soon. And I kind of don't want to enter it before that, but yeah, that Bissy in the breaker, that'd be a nice long. ES just swept the high. If you were super keen, you probably could have got in on this first inversion fair value gap down here. But that's pretty brave. Even though it ran pretty quickly, so would have been fine. Hasn't swept the high for you. Are you looking at the right contract? I think I am. Maybe I'm not. Oh wow, no. Yes, micro ES is what I had open. But yeah, the normal ES hasn't swept the high. Ah. That's good to look out for. Usually I've got both micros and mini contracts open for both assets, but accidentally doubled up on the micro. Dude, so many times you can actually see there be SMT between MNQ and NQ NES. So like MNQ, NES will both sweep a high, for example, but NQ won't. And that's a pretty valid form of SMT as well. Because MNQ loves to do some extra manipulation. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it as well, definitely. I'm not sure if I'd want to enter right away in this busy because I'd have to have a pretty large stop unless you were to just cover the low of this breaker here as your stop. That could be fine. But we'll see what news does. Dude, honestly, breaks do that. They help so much. Like, if you're in the trenches 24/7, like your mind not having a break is just not good for trading. And it only takes like a day or two, you know, or a week is good. A week of not trading and then coming back is great. I think it's definitely worth doing it regularly, you know, every few months, just taking a week off and just not looking at the charts at all. Yeah, that's very good to do as well. I try to do that a lot, but then there becomes times when structure is clear that it should be going in the opposite direction. And that's the only time I'll sort of take a trade against my bias. Or if I'm trading against my bias, then I only look for scalps as retracements, but not actually hold on to the trade. Almost news. Hey, dude, that's crazy. Tag the breaker and go. So if you jumped in there, that's a nice trade, but so ES still hasn't taken the high, even with that news. Yeah, I mean, if we're to run back down there, we're running almost 200 points. Definitely doable. I mean, the daily ranges we've had over the last few weeks have been insane, so definitely anything can happen here. I think let it chop for a bit, work out what it wants to do, and then come 10 AM look for a silver bullet. And this will be key for me, watching this breaker and watching this busy within the breaker. But yeah, we still have SMT with the high. Yes, no, none of this is financial advice. But I agree. Getting interesting. Around the same spot on ES. ES is reaching into, or about to reach into, a 5-minute fair value gap. But honestly, I'm liking shorts. If we were to get below the breaker, then it's definitely what I'll be looking for. We're hitting the high of the opening range gap right now. Yeah, if you're taking this here as the first presented fair value gap. Yeah, for sure. Some people take that whole range there. But if the wick's greater than 50% of that fair value gap, I just like to take the smaller part there. Oops. Because if we're still to run higher, this is fine. Like, even though we're reaching down into the very low of the breaker, if we're doing that and immediately running higher, that's fine. And at the same time right now, ES is reaching into its 5-minute BISI as we're at the low of this breaker here. Macro time as well. 950 macro. If we're also analyzing what's happened since the open, we've had an immediate drop lower, displacement higher, which has probably trapped a lot of people long right now. And then plus this news candle has also run higher again, so anyone who wanted to try and catch a run higher has done so up here. So part of the story is suggesting that we could see a further run lower sweeping out this low and really stopping anyone that was long. Or all-time high situations, we just keep blasting higher. Yeah, I'm also keeping a note of today's new day opening gap as well, which we hadn't yet. What's that? Which we hadn't yet reached down into. So that also needs to be filled. Do I ever take TGIF setups? Yeah, I definitely do. I love doing that on Fridays usually. But today's a bit iffy. Like, if we weren't at all-time highs and this was just a regular day with what's happening right now, seeing this initial run higher on a regular day, just at the open, to me is like a great Judas setup to then see a close into 30% of the daily range. But for something like today, it's a bit harder to pick just because we're at all-time highs. But otherwise it would be great because we got equal lows with the bodies here. London equal lows as well. So that's just a good indication that it could be a good day for TGIF. But yeah, it's hard with all-time high price action. If we start closing that here, potentially could see longs again. You know, we had two bearish fair value gaps in a row into the breaker. We're just wicking the low of the breaker and then displacing higher again. If we close these, it could be a sign for a decent long. This is what I'm thinking. And we're also wicking the high of the opening range gap. So nothing really bearish yet. Even though there's ideas for shorts, the fact that price still hasn't shown any willingness to really go lower yet is why we don't want to look to take a short at the moment. We'll wait for 10 AM. Looking nicer again. We've just used the 934 BISI within the breaker again to continue higher. Jeez. That's an aggressive wick. Just before 10 AM. Whoa. Did we have news coming out or something just then? What was that? Was that just on MNQ? Let me look at NQ. Wow, what a scammer. This didn't even happen on NQ. NQ just did the normal thing. That's crazy if you were long there. That's the one thing I hate about MNQ. It honestly scams you so much. I've been stopped out to the tick by something like that happening, and then it continuing in the direction that I wanted to see price go. It's actual bullshit. Yeah, feels mad with the micros. Mate, he's a micro hater. Microaggression. Yeah, I know, right? I don't want to see a fair value gap form from 10 AM. Honestly, I thought this morning would have been moving a lot more than what it currently is. Literally since the open. I mean, we've moved 120 points, but we sort of done nothing in the process of that happening. It was just sort of a quick up and down, down and up, and then not a whole lot since. Also mark out this wick. So we're just reaching into 50% of this wick right now. not happy this morning. I really hate watching price when you can visibly see candles, like the volume of these candles just randomly come out of nowhere. Honestly, I feel like this inversion fair value gap should be good for longs higher, but just the way we're printing at the moment, you know, we don't actually have any real displacement in these candles. Also, this wick is so much larger, I just realized, than what it is on on bloody NQ. So in NQ we've swept what is this high already. Interesting. Honestly, I would have swapped over already to just a regular NASDAQ chart, but the fact that I've marked up all this on MNQ right now, I don't really want to swap over. Yeah, there is. Between this high. Dude, when you can mark out this much SMT within this one minute window of price, that's when you know we're not doing a whole lot. Fair value gap like this is usually just bait as well. We haven't had any proper displacement above this high. We've just wicked above and then we're trading back below, so this fair value gap to me isn't something I'd ever use to enter on a trade. Unless we're doing an inversion. If we're looking for shorts and this happens, that's usually great. But definitely not for longs. I've been caught out so many times in the past trying to long something like that. Or short if it's flipped around the other way. And dude, look at the reaction of that upper quadrant on this wick. I mean, I don't really trust this because this wick isn't here on NQ. And I only really care about NQ, not MNQ. I'm just using it to trade on, so. I want to see ES take its high that formed at 8:30. Like the way we're slowly grinding higher, I feel like it's potentially waiting for ES to sweep the news high and then for us to come lower. Yeah, that would be nice. I'm also watching we're trading within the 2 to 2.5 standard deviation of the data map companion as well, Ollie. That's sort of where NQ has just stopped at the moment. Well, MNQ. Yeah, I agree. I'd want to see it happen. I mean, I'd want to see it happen now with this bullish candle. That's just come back up and closed like that. I'd want to see it happen now. Otherwise, you know, coming back down again, that's just going to be ultimate chop. Yeah, agreed. Come on, do something. Let's go. Was loving this upper quadrant of this wick here on the 1 minute. Be very interesting if that's where we start running lower from. I have been in a trade as well from the high of this inversion fair value gap. I was targeting up here for this extreme level, but I've pretty much taken all my partials off above this high here, with only 2 micro contracts left. So if we come back here, I've got my stop at break even. Whoops. But honestly, I'm fine with that for a trade. What, like most of it was just over 20 points, partials, for 10 contracts. So, I mean, it's something with this morning's price action, we've had nothing much else to go off of. We've sort of just traded what's in front of us here. And like we will start to move a lot better probably towards the end of this hour, toward the 1050 macro, I would assume, but I'm not going to be waiting around for that, honestly, if I get stopped at break even here. It could just be one of those dead Fridays leading into next week. I would have taken this same trade on my Apex accounts as well, which is what I've got here open on TradingView. But usually I like to keep those, I trade them a bit differently. I use my top step for a bit more, I don't know, 50-50 trades, because on top step, there's no consistency rule. Whereas on Apex, even with your live accounts on Apex, you have a 30% consistency rule. So I just try to make sure on Apex that I'm taking trades that are actually going to yield some a good amount of points. Cool, that's me break even there now. On top step, I'll show you guys my trade. I'll do this again without fucking it up. Here we go. Whoops. Why am I drawing on this? Yeah. So yeah, I entered literally as soon as this 10:01 candle came back down into this inversion fair value gap. And then, yeah, I took most partials pretty much above that high. So just over 20 points. Which, I mean, that's decent enough for something like today when this is how we're moving. I like to try and be done with my trading before 11 AM or just after 11 AM. So when we're moving like this, you know, that one and done mentality for today is going to be what I use. I'll stick around for a bit longer and just watch price and see if anything does happen, but otherwise I'll likely be off pretty soon, I think. Nearing 1 AM for me right now. I'm sure Epic, if you're not gone already, you'll probably be heading off soon as well. Yeah. Is that a good book? I honestly need to read more than what I do. Recently, the only like proper books that I've been reading are literally all to do with trading, like nothing else. That's good. That's good. They sound like good books. A lot of psychology stuff. Dude, that's actually a great way to think about it. I should do the same. Like reading so... I don't know, I feel like I feel so healthy when I continually read for a period of time. Like over the span of weeks. Like it's just great for the brain. I think that's honestly what's traumatized me a bit. Going to uni and reading so much dog shit books. Honestly, I feel like streaming and making videos as well has also helped me with like articulation. Hey, well, if you guys want any trading books, I've got pretty much any trading book under the sun, especially any that ICT has read. I found a whole bunch through a friend who had like a PDF of literally most trading books, so... yeah. Dude, Trading in the Zone's good. Yeah, I like that one as well. I liked Larry Williams. Fuck, what was that one called? Let me check. I've got them all in my Obsidian vault. I like Larry Williams' The Secret of Selecting Stocks for Intermediate and Substantial Gains, and his long-term secrets to short-term trading. I also like the book The Richest Man in Babylon. That's nice. By George S. Clason. Books from Yumi Sakura. Give me any names. I don't know if I do. Doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, I think they're worth reading for sure. I've also got the book Street Smarts by Linda Rashke and someone else, I think. I haven't read that one yet, but I'm sort of at the start of it. They're all pretty much ones that were just recommended by ICT. You're fucking kidding. Oh, that hurts. Ollie, is that the book by Yumi? The Path to Success in Trading? Yeah, cool. I have to have a look at that for sure. Trading psychology books are nice. I feel like I mean, like there's a few of them that I've read which are actual like strategic stuff about trading, especially like Larry Williams. A few of his books are just to do with, you know, catching daily ranges, etc. But there's not a whole lot you can take out of it if you're trading ICT concepts. That's why I like the psychology books a bit more. All right, we're starting to move a bit now. Might actually have to lock back in. Unless you want to keep a note of this again. I think we've got SMT again. We do. Currently have SMT here. Goodness me. Yeah, dude, that'd be good, Ollie. I'd be interested in that. Yes, yes, all legally, me too. Of course. Of course. Honestly, I'm gonna get rid of this crap. Keeping a mental note of the PD arrays I just removed, but I don't like having too much on my chart at once. When it gets too cluttered, I get bothered. Damn, 30 books. Are they all trading books or other ones like just general psychology as well? Trading related, yeah, sick. That's good. I'd definitely be keen at taking a look. Honestly, I should start doing something. I'm gonna add a P&L tally or whatever you like to call it to the stream. Could be something interesting to have. P. Where did that go? Oh, I'd be interested in that book for sure. I wish I traded commodities more. Like, I used to swing trade them a little bit, but not with really much money at all. And it's when I was a little worse at trading. So now that like I'm better than what I used to be, I feel like I could do pretty well with swing trading commodities. Honestly, this could have been potentially used as a spot to go short. But the time that it currently is isn't really... I'm not looking to really trade until it would get to the 1050 macro at a minimum. And that's honestly our first form of displacement where we've had this one down candle and then immediately run back up higher. So we've had no real displacement. I'd probably want to see at least 2 consecutive bearish fair value gaps if we're to go lower. That's how we can all start introducing ourselves. We're just a bunch of swingers. Hey, we might get a few strange looks, but if we do it together, we'll be alright. We'll just tell everyone we're in a swingers group. Dude, I got rid of this S&T before, but yeah, we still got it here. Dude, Epic, tell me about it. Honestly, the fact that we've started now creating fair value gaps, lower, higher, we might see price start to actually want to move towards the 1050 macro. This inversion fair value gap could potentially hold if we're going to go longer, but we'll see. I feel like in the past, a lot of the time when we've just been doing a whole bunch of nothing, I'd wait to see the first fair value gap, and that's when I'd enter trades usually. And that's also, you know, through backtesting and journaling, I realized I made a lot of mistakes in the past. Whereas if you just be patient, actually let it start to show more than just creating fair value gaps, is when you'd be a lot more consistent with trading. Yeah, exactly. If 950 macro does nothing, 1050 is usually the good spot. Look for a trade. honestly, this, that's a decent order block as well. SMT here at the low. Consecutive bullish candles. We have this down close candle close within these few bullish candles. And then we trade back above. That's in all definitions a good order block. And an order block overlapping with this small busy as well. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've got my Apex accounts open on Tradeovate right now here on TradingView. But I was saying before that usually, because with Apex I need to have a 30% consistency rule, like even with live accounts, I usually wait for like something I would consider like an A+ setup to take a trade on that. Whereas Top Step, because there's no consistency, I just, even if it's a, I wouldn't say 50-50 trade. Like if it's a 50-50, I'm not usually taking it, but if I'm confident but not super confident, I'll still take it on Top Step, which is what I've done for the last 2 days now. Yeah, Apex has a 30% consistency rule. So, for example, I have my largest account is a 250k account on Apex, and the minimum you need to make for a payout is like 6.5 grand, and the maximum you can make in 1 day, if you're trying to reach that payout cap, is about $2,000. So if you make anything more than that, then you're sort of breaching their rules. And because I'm literally always just trying to get that minimum threshold, so I just keep getting the account to 6.5 grand, and then withdrawing and then doing the same thing. But you could realistically make as much as you want in a day, but you would just have to continue making that amount. So if I was to make like 10k a day, I'd just have to do that like 4 times to be able to take a payout, to make sure that my total profits don't exceed 30% on 1 day. I don't know, I feel like I just butchered that explanation, but yeah, and this would have been nice. Would have been a very nice long, but just not the right time for me to enter a trade. Would have had about 20-point stop. Targeting these as your first level. I reckon I'm gonna stick around until 11 AM. And if that first 10 minutes of that macro don't do anything, then I'm gonna head off. So you know what's interesting? This here is a potential rejection block. On a lower time frame. I don't really like looking too much into that though. I'll just keep a note of it. Oh, this is pretty frustrating. We've literally done nothing all morning. Not frustrating. I'm not really frustrated, but it's predictable as well from how CPI reacted. Moving, what? How much did we move? Yeah, roughly 200 points. And 50 macro here. All right, when this 1 minute candle closes, if we close below this 3 minute fair value gap, be a nice inversion. Sure, I might enter on a small trade if we come back up into here. And we'll see what it does. If it wants to come back up in. Okay. Alright, I was waiting for it to come back up and touch the low of this 3-minute fair value gap. But it probably would have been more ideal just to enter when this 1050 candle closed. Could be used, but it's a bit low in this leg here for me to want to use that, and we've just blasted through it anyway. If I entered here, where would I have to put my stop? Probably put above here. Be 25 points, that'd be alright. Tell you what, I bet we're just gonna get no retracement back, and we're just gonna continue dropping. Not give anyone a chance to get in at a decent level. First presented fair value gap there. Stay patient here. The worst thing to do is try and just enter short here, and then it starts to give you a retracement for your entry. Literally, the entry was to just enter as soon as that 1050 macro candle closed. Would have stopped above here, or probably 20 points. Would have already been up just over 70 points. Probably targeting here as your first level of liquidity. How is ES moving? Yeah, ES is moving nicely as well. Potentially see this first presented fair value gap be used as an inversion. But we're so low in this leg towards this sell side that it's not somewhere I'd want to jump in. And we've still got more of this macro to go, so we could see a deeper retracement. I wouldn't want to see it go too deep, otherwise you're just going back into the range. But yeah, somewhere there, around 50%, and then drop would be nice if it were to go lower. I might try something small, just so I can have a larger stop. This drop lower could have been bait anyway. But I kind of do like shorts at the moment anyway. About to hit 1:30 in the morning for me here. Getting pretty tired. I don't really like how we're closing this 5-minute candle either. We're not closing below the previous candle. We've just wicked the low and then we've come back up. Hmm. $11 AM here. Honestly, guys, I think I'm probably gonna get off. Even though we just had a nice move lower, we sort of still haven't, like, I wanted to see us break this low and then either have a quicker retracement and then continue lower. Maybe I'll wait until 11:10, and if we haven't shown any more volatility by then I'll jump off. If we were moving quicker, I'd probably have a limit around here at 50% of this current range. But now I'm going to wait to see if we get a reaction around here or up towards this inversion fair value gap. And then if we start moving lower again, I'll probably look for a short. That's probably where I was going to put my limit as well. This little volume imbalance here. I would have liked to see that candle close below here now. Just more wicks, it seems. All right, guys. This ain't for me. We're not moving quick enough. I'm going to leave it here, and I'll be back probably, I want to say next Monday, maybe next Tuesday. I haven't looked at the economic calendar, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll be posting in my Discord if I'll be going live or not. And I'll probably schedule a broadcast as well for YouTube, if you can see. So thanks for everyone who tuned in. And I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.